The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. The dream of opening up a comic shop. It is a common dream among fans. There's a lot of customers that I saw over the years, and their dream was to open up a shop. It's always kind of awkward in the shop when somebody would come in and they're buying their comics. Like, I'm going to open a comic shop one day, and then they kind of look at you like, and compete with you. And it's like, it was always kind of funny because it's like, I'm not going to worry about you competing with me until you open up the shop across the street and then start telling everybody that, I've got roaches. And then I'll start worrying about it. But, the dreams can be dreams. But it's a common, I'll bet you most of the people listening to this have had that dream at one point or another. Now, please, for the moment, just don't be, cynical Tom over there with like, yeah, but the comic industry's dying and I wouldn't open a comic store because woke Marvel. Like, just hold off that instinct for 5 minutes. And just remember when you were a kid and you had dreams like being a spaceman or woman or whatever. Who's kid? Spacemen. Gotcha. No, I'm kidding. But you had these dreams, and some of them like, I'll be a superhero. I'll be president of a new country somewhere in the ocean that I'll make out of, floating rock. That will be a new island. That I will be the new Namor of the sea. Whatever. I didn't have that dream, but I did. I definitely had the dream of like buying an island somewhere, and not letting anybody else on. In fairness, I still have that dream, especially as I drive around Texas. But the dream of opening up a comic shop is a common one. So let's get into this mail. And this is a listener who wants to open up a comic shop, is having a few problems figuring out how to get it done logistically. I often just I just kind of lightly skim the mail and I read it for the first time. It's better. I get a better reaction that way. But I did read through this mail because this is the second take on this video. I had to stop because this is a real mail. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Dear Perch, thank you for everything you do. On my commute to work, your show keeps me company, and I've enjoyed listening to you over the last few years. Yes, I'm a longtime listener. I plan to open up a comic shop. It's been my dream, see, there you go, for years to have a comic shop. I know you're a retailer, and I'm hoping you can help me out with my problem. The problem is, it's very expensive to open up a comic shop. I could take out a loan, but I already have a mortgage, a car payment, and student loans. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm currently not paying my student loans. A friend of mine came up with a trick that I think will help at least get the student loans off my back. I'm going to go back to school part-time. If I do, I can defer my student loans until I finish school. All right, this is... let me intercept here for just one moment, just to add in something to this point. I've heard this idea before that, hey, I've got student loans. Hey, I can't pay them back right now, or I don't want to. And so the trick I will do is I will defer my loans, which you can for a little while. But then eventually, it's this crazy thing when you borrow money, you have to pay it back. It's I know it's wild, but it's true. It is true. When you buy that car, they do expect you to pay for it. You can't just drive it off. And, if you buy those you buy those Taylor Swift tickets on your credit card, it may be an amazing show. You are going to have to pay it back, for you have to pay your credit card. But anyway, if you do this, if you decide to go back to school, back to college, back to whatever, to defer your student loans, it's fine. But you do understand you are now borrowing more money to pay for the more years of school, right? I mean, it's not like you get to defer that school and you get free school. You're going to new classes, which means new money that you have to pay. So you are increasing your debt that you will have to pay at some point. I mean, that is economics. Anyway, But back to the mail. Um, the school. Okay. To get the shop started, I think I'm going to need to take out a loan for at least $75,000. But to do that, I'm going to need to either stop paying off my other loans or not pay off the loan for the shop. I'm wondering if you have any bright ideas to help me realize my dream, even though I don't really technically have the money for it right now. What do you think I should do? P.S. A friend of mine, okay, you need new friends. A friend of mine suggests that I can apply for multiple credit cards, and that will at least buy me 6 to 9 months if I put a lot of this on credit. What do you think of that option? I'm a little nervous because I think that will damage my credit score. Okay. Oh, you sweet summer child. So, all right. So don't open a store. I understand it's your dream. I understand. And, running a comic shop, doing that stuff, it's fun. I'm not going to lie. It can be fun. But you need to live within your means. And if you spiral into lots of debt and you can't pay it, and up front you can't pay this, it's one thing to take a gamble on a business and, you have some money to get going for 6 months, but you don't know how to survive the next 6 months. If you really believe in what you've done your work, you've done all the right things, then, I'm not going to say you go for it. You know yourself. You know if you should go for it or not. But if you have line of sight to, a run rate of 6 months, you could make it work. You don't have to have some people never open that business they really want because they're trying to get 10 years of cash in hand before they do anything. And that's very hard to do. That is what loans are for. But the thing about loans, and I understand it may sound a little tongue in cheek and jokey, but loans are not gifts. It is intended that you pay them back, and you can do. Sadly, what you're describing is somewhat very much the American way lately of, hey, I have this dream. I should be able to have this dream. You should have the opportunity for your dream. You don't just get to have your dream. And that's tough to hear. But if you don't have the money for your dream and you have no way to pay it back, just, getting a loan with no intention or idea or thought about how you're going to, make good on that debt is a bad idea. Because the thing is, dreams can become nightmares. And one of the best ways for it to become a nightmare is if you do not have the cash to survive and you're dodging creditors and you're having to go to extra school that you're getting deeper in debt for because you're trying to defer other debt to go into debt somewhere else. Like all these things, all of that it's quicksand. Yes, even my car's like beep beep beep. Don't do this. You will be miserable. You will not have a good time with your comic shop. You're gonna be thinking about loans. You're gonna be dodging creditors. You're gonna be. Hell, like you said at the end, you don't want to damage your credit score. I've got news for you. You are absolutely going to destroy your credit score, and probably, and again, I don't mean to be harsh, but you're probably already well on the way to doing that. At the point where you're contemplating going back to school in order to defer debt, which is going to give you more debt, and your friend's telling you just get a bunch of credit cards and run up, debt there, your credit score is effed, my friend. If it's not already now, it's definitely going to be. So think about me as your little magic 8-ball here. Most definitely, that's going to be bad for you. And I know you may have seen those TV ads that go, hey, we'll get rid of all your debt for you. Don't worry, fresh start. Yeah, first of all, a lot of those are scams. The vast majority, the ones that aren't, are basically structured, putting you on a structured payment plan so you can kind of get out of the situation you're in. But the operative word there is payment plan. There's not a magical, let us just erase, debt and problems for you for funsies. That's not how it works. Now, look, I guess I want to repeat one point again. You will have a terrible time. You will be stressed, worried about where the money's coming in. You will not have the dream you want if you go into it this way. So don't. This is something that I think needs to be told to more people, particularly in this country, more often, is you don't get all of your dreams. Sometimes, like me, I'm not going to have an island where I get away from everyone, no matter how desperate I want it. It's you don't get those dreams. I'm not saying set realistic goals and just stick with realistic goals. It's good to have kind of wild fantasies and big ambition. It's good to do that. But find a better friend, first of all, who's going to be like the angel on your shoulder, to counteract the devil on your shoulder, who can at least say, hey, look, you know what? You can, there's other options here. You can go into a comic shop and say that you like, that seems relatively stable, and say, hey, I don't have a lot of money, but I'd like to invest. Can I be a sub partner here or work your way out? Like try if that's what you want to do, try something like that. But whatever you do, diving into deep debt and try to, shenanigans your way through, getting money that you don't have. First of all, you won't be, the odds of you being successful are next to zero. You are jumping into an industry. I asked everybody to suspend their disbelief about their feelings on the industry for, 5 minutes. It's been longer now, but thank you. Hopefully, thank you. Because the same advice can be applied to anything, by the way, even stuff that's going great. I mean, look, I have another friend who's like, I'm borrowing money to buy more crypto because, no. The first time you hear the words coming out of your mouth of, hey, if I shuffle the money around like this and kind of hide from this debt to rack up debt somewhere else, it will all work out for me. You stop. You're on the wrong track. And you could still have a great dream of going in and helping out, getting a job, being a part-time investor. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can do if your dream is to be in comics that do not have to be, you don't get to have everything you want. And you didn't say it, but what I hear people say a lot is, well, that's not fair. Fairness has nothing to do with it. What's not fair is the people that you'd be borrowing money from with no intention to pay it back. That's not fair. Those are enemies you're getting. Those are people who, if they support you today, they definitely will not tomorrow. If you're borrowing a bunch of cash and, they know you, you walk into it knowing, hey, they expect to get money back from me in a timely fashion, 3 months, I'm going to pay them all back. And you don't. I mean, how many people in comics have borrowed money, basically leaned on the influence of others? How many this is why comics are so addicted to the GoFundMe, because it's a loan with no payback. I mean, how many crowdfunders have, happily taken your cash and bragged about it? Look at all the cash I'm raising. Look, I'm definitely going to get you your comic. Yeah, I said this year, but 4 years later, whatever. I mean, how many? That's not a shot at anyone, by the way. I pull these numbers out of my ass. So they're like, there's one guy listening to this right now. It's like, I'm 4 years late. Oh, fuck Perch. I promise I have no idea how late you are. Anyway, this is the stuff where don't go into these business arrangements with no intention or no plan for how you're going to pay it back, or a plan based on kind of, fantasy craziness that, just has to work out. It's not healthy. And again, it's not fair to them. It's not fair to the people you're taking the money from. But it's also not fair to you because you're setting up a situation where you're going to be stressed, miserable, unhappy, not knowing how to pay back the stuff. Because somewhere deep down in your soul, there is a conscience. It's like, fuck, I'm stealing, and it ruins dreams, ruins them. So don't let that happen to you. Keep your dream pure. It's better to have a pure, good dream of making a comic or opening up a comic shop or whatever it happens to be. It's better to have that dream and have it be a warm, happy, goal to get to someday than for you to do it, borrow a bunch of money in the process, have no idea how to pay it back, get chased by creditors all over the place, ruin other parts of your life. There will be no victory for you. Best advice I can give you. Anyway, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. In Texas, this feels like a "I'll bless your heart" scenario. Some of you know what that means. Anyway, thanks for listening.